Rob.
Yes.
Rob. You ever do a crime? You ever get convicted of a crime?
Ooh.
You ever get convicted? You ever have to go to court?
Now this is gonna be good.
No.
Oh.
You ever done jury duty?
Oh.
Reluctantly, yes.
Okay.
No.
Did the case get dismissed?
I wish it would. Oh, yeah, I didn't get selected.
You didn't get selected. Okay, so you don't know. Anyway, the reason I ask these questions is leading into my topic for today is the famous lawyer who's become internet famous now, Jayoma. Shout out to Jayoma. Got my case dismissed. Just kidding. That's
Ew.
Yeah, sorry. That's what all his
I'm
clients
surprised
say.
you went with an internet lawyer.
That's what all his clients say. But essentially, I want to talk about this situation because I find it very interesting. So Jayoma is an internet celebrity at the moment. Had a little documentary made by Tyler Oliveira about him. He's big on Instagram because essentially it'll be him doing like a selfie video with his client, and he'll be like, "Who's the best lawyer? Jayoma." And he's like, "Why am I the best lawyer?" He's like, "Got my case dismissed." He's like, "How much time were you looking at?" 3 years. What'd you do? Sexually assault a kid.
Jesus Christ.
And who?
We're just on the sexual kid.
And he's like, who's your lawyer? Jayoma. Call Jayoma. All this just compilations of people saying what they did.
What kind of
podcast
is this?
How much time they were looking at, and then how Jayoma got it dismissed. So what he is he is a criminal defense lawyer. From my understanding, he's a public criminal defense lawyer. So if you are in, I believe Phoenix is where he's located, and you do a crime, you may get Jayoma as your defense lawyer. Brought to you by the state of Phoenix or of Arizona. But essentially, his goal is to just get cases dismissed. So if you guys know how the law system works, of course, there's guilty, not guilty, but there is a third alternative, and that's if the case gets dismissed. Essentially, if the judge or the jury cannot proceed with the case. Now, reasons cases get dismissed is insufficient evidence, no probable cause, unavailable witness.
Houston, Texas, by the way.
Houston, Texas. He's in Houston, Texas is his location. Unavailable witness. Inadmissible evidence or illegal evidence.
Sounds like he's either tampering with the evidence or he's tampering with the witness.
Absolutely. I don't know about the evidence part, but the witness potentially he is having conversations with these. But really, what he's doing is he's trying to make sure that any way that evidence was collected or retrieved by the police or authorities was not legitimate or was not done by the letter of the law, exactly how the law says it.
Okay.
And when he's able to prove that they have not, that's how he's able to get cases dismissed.
Jeez.
So he's essentially able to weasel and finagle his way for his clients to not face the jail time that, let's be honest, they probably deserve. But I wanted to get your guys' opinion on this and just kind of the fact that this is now an internet trend because this guy is just making sure prisons are safer by leaving these guys on the street.
So what are you're just looking for our thoughts on this guy?
Yeah, do you think it's a two-parter. One, do you think it's all right that just that a case can get dismissed this easily?
No.
He gets these dismissed in 2-3 days.
He's
sometimes
quick.
Sometimes it takes a week, but he works quick. Like the documentary if you guys want to check it out, it's by Tyler Oliveira. It's like a day in a life for him. Dude, he goes to 4 courtrooms, gets all of them dismissed in one day.
Yes, that is too light, I believe.
Too light. How do you feel about him utilizing social media to kind of promote himself as this god lawyer?
A Better Call Saul.
Exactly.
It's Better Call Saul. Actually, this is probably the real life Better Call Saul.
That's what he calls himself.
Better Call Saul. I mean,
Yeah.
100%. He probably has the guy that does all the hits and everything too. The old guy. What's his name?
Yeah.
You know who I'm talking about?
I know who you're talking about.
He probably has that guy too on his staff somewhere.
Maybe.
Kind of answer your question. I think it's kind of just weird. Where I understand, I can have an understanding being a defense lawyer is because just think of the like someone who does like a mass shooting, and you have to be someone's defense lawyer for that, it's like most of the population wants this person to, unlive themselves or get the book. And it's like, how do you defend it? And to be a defense lawyer probably is just like a very tough job because you have to see it from a different angle than other people. So I just think
For them, it's a competition.
Oh, really?
For them, for lawyer,
Absolutely.
it's lawyer versus lawyer. That's how they look at it.
Okay.
Well, the win-loss record probably too.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So defense lawyers look at it as like they're almost used car salesmen. Like they're looking, it's a competition. I gotta get this case dismissed, build my credibility up.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
I just think for a person, because he's a lawyer, right?
Yes.
I just think when you do something like that with the intentions of giving people who maliciously hurt people an opportunity to get out, it just gives somebody a cushion because they see something of that magnitude of information. It's like, oh, I can probably get out of this, where it decreases them to have any cognitive flexibility to, be remorseful for what they've done. Mm-hmm. It's almost kind of like, oh, I got a backup plan.
Well, there's a funny clip. You say that because there's a funny clip of this guy being like, he's like, so what'd you do? And the guy's like, I hit my wife. And he's like, no, you acted in self-defense when your wife attacked you. Like, that's how he sells it to the guy.
Damn.
But I think, Andrew, you want to say something?
So yeah, I'm not going to like try to go after this guy's reputation or anything, but Houston police seem to have a really bad record of handling evidence. There's an article from a local newspaper in Houston about hundreds of cases being backlogged just due to mismanagement from the Houston Police Department. And there's like rape test kits that aren't being done. There's hundreds of pieces of evidence that are being lost, and labs aren't being properly done, so the evidence is admissible because there's shortcuts being taken because there's such a backlog because of mismanagement, underfunding in that area. And yeah.
So what you're saying is, if you commit a crime in Houston,
To do it around Houston.
you can walk away free if you do something in Houston.
There's a like.
Look at that. What defense forces?
The defense focuses on handling of evidence in capital murder trial of Jerry Elders, where the evidence was incorrectly collected, analyzed, and stored into proceedings.
And just like that, it gets dismissed.
Yeah.
I wonder how many Houston cases do get dismissed then.
All of Jayoma's do.
Apparently.
That's why he's the best.
I do want to say this because I do believe, as you guys all know, I am a Christian, but I also believe I believe in a bit of like karma.
Absolutely.
Where I say this, where I've never experienced this ever, but I've heard a lot of people talking about, the act of taking someone's life and like what that does to the psyche and things like that, and sitting in the rooms and talking to a lot of people like that. That stuff catches up with you, and I kind of see this in the same akin where you're helping people who have not righteously started to atone for their misfortunes and misdeeds, and I definitely think the type of work you do affects the outcomes and the things that are going to happen in your life. I'm not saying I'm hoping bad things happen to this guy, but he's going to have a catch-22 epiphany of like how many people who's gotten off like this, and there's going to be a situation in his life, and that's not trying to speak that into existence, where justice should have been applied to that person and that person gets off scot-free. And I hope he takes that kind of like perspective of like, hey, I was doing this on this end. Not, and I kind of even hate to say that because it's like, oh, if you do good things are going to happen to you. It really doesn't happen. But I really think when you play and dabble with, fire, you'll eventually get burned.
Fair. Now, do you think it's hate the player or hate the game?
Wow, we're going
That's
there.
that's a good question.
Do you think he's
That
just
is
doing?
a good question.
Because he'll probably just tell you, "Hey, man, I'm just better at my job than the prosecutor.
That's a good question.
I work harder. I know the system, and I just play the system."
I will just say this. if we're using the same mantra of hate the player, hate the game, eventually after a dude talks to so many different women and he's done so many things, he gets to a point where he's like, man, I really wish I had that one person I didn't play no games with.
Now, my other thing is he's also not the only one.
Oh, okay.
I'm sure all the defense lawyers are like this. They all like the game. Brian Houston, especially. You have to think he's also a public defense lawyer. There's defense lawyers you have to pay good money for, man. Other defense lawyers you got to pay like $10,000 an hour for. The Johnny Cochrans of the world, rolling in his grave. The ones who have to help drug lords get away with their cases and all that stuff. So he's just the tip of the iceberg.
Interesting.
It's the world we live in, the real world we live in, the underbelly.
Well, I think on the flip side, the prosecutors on the same side probably do the same thing.
So, quick aside with the prosecutors. First thing, as of a year ago, there's 4,000 cases sitting in backlog, just waiting for evidence to be handled.
That's fantastic. They're doing a great
In
job.
Houston?
Yeah,
Just in Houston.
Just in Houston.
Failed society.
Right. Second thing,
ugly place.
apparently,
Stop talking about H-Town.
H-Town.
they're saying that they have a higher arrest rate with a lower bar for like what's needed to arrest. It's like, oh, you're suspected, we're going to arrest you.
Oh, okay. Mm-hmm.
And then things tied to that are now put
She
into
attacked
evidence.
me.
Right. So that's also causing a backlog.
Makes sense.
So
I kind of wonder in Houston, then if they must have taken the trash cans outside of the courtroom, so they can't bang for the judge on how to. No, you guys don't understand that one. Okay.
Nope. Sorry.
No, going
no.
for the baseball.
Oh, Astros.
Yeah,
Got it.
going for it. But I guess that was a bad one. It's okay. I will own up to it.
I think we're just like 3 years too late for that joke.
Probably, but you know what? We're still gonna hit it.
Don't.
It's all right. Well, I'll take it on the.
So shout out to Jayoma. He got my case dismissed.
Well.